Well, hi folks, absolutely sweltering day, bank holiday Monday. Just give you a little roundup, show you what's going on, how things have progressed up at the plot. Like I said, sweltering. We haven't had any of the rain that they've had down south, thunderstorms, so my soil is getting so dry now. But thankfully, things are still growing well. As you can see, the peas are flying up now. I'll stay this side because wind's at my back. A few of the lettuces are doing alright. Could do with a bit of water, but I haven't got any spare. I've only put the net on because it's been really windy from the east, an easterly wind the last few days. Like a sirocco, it's been like red hot and windy. So I needed a bit of protection. Likewise, the garlic there, that all got flattened nearly. So these are the banana shallots. Just starting to pick up a bit now, so not looking too bad. Onions, off to a slow start, but they're getting there slowly. They've got plenty of time to grow. And the garlic, like I said, it was all blown over like that one is there the other day. So I've just heaped some soil up around it to try and sort of shore it up a little bit and put the little windbreak up there, and it seems to have helped, so not too bad. Spuds are finally coming through. They're all up now, so that's not too bad. Just dreading going in the polytunnel. It's been so hot and it's been that windy, and I've had to keep one of the doors shut, otherwise everything will get flattened. So, but anyway, spuds looking alright. Again, plenty of time for those to grow. As you can see, I know there's a lot of weeds in the middle. Look, starting to get cracks appearing in the soil, and that's without anything even growing in it. So that shows you how little rain we've had. We've not had any of the thunderstorms, like I said, but starting to look alright. So really at the moment, all I'm relying on for water, because I've no mains water up here, is what I collect off my polytunnel on these little gutters. I've got one at each corner, and I've got like 600 litres at each corner nearly, but we're getting low. Only about half full now, so it can't last forever, can it, this drought as we've got, but we'll see. I'd rather have this weather and no water than chucking it down and having too much. So my second lot of peas, sowed those about 2 or 3 weeks later, coming up now, but as you can see, got tons of mare's tail coming through, and if I show you this bed, look at that, it's absolutely full of the stuff. I'm not really growing anything here, I've just got a few gooseberry bushes, but I've tried to spray it all individually with glyphosate, and it doesn't seem to have done a damn thing, because apparently it's so like waxy, the texture, it just falls straight off the weed killer. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And it's coming up everywhere, it's coming up through my patio, through the cracks, look at it, everywhere, and it's marching on. It's about 6 foot from my polytunnel, so I don't want it anywhere near there. Anyway, that's about it, that's all. Bit of weeds, can't help it. So maybe little gooseberries, finally getting a crop. Had a few drop off, I don't know what that is, whether it's the dry weather. Hopefully, I hope it's not something more sinister. But yeah, we're getting a few gooseberries after, this will be the first crop I've ever had off these. Because I planted these about 2 years ago as little tiny plants, and they have come on. So I look forward to a few of these. So the leeks are planted out the other day, seem alright, even though it's been really bone dry. Because they're in a hole, they don't get as hot as if they're on the surface. And once you give them a good watering in, they're alright. Onions, a few more onions, need a bit of weeding in between, but a few extra. And I've planted a few giant runner beans. That one snapped in the wind, fantastic. I think I've got a spare one in polytunnel. But I'm just giving this a go just for a laugh again, not taking it seriously. We'll see how we get on. And I've planted the marrows, again, because it was so windy, I've had to put some cover up, which looks a bit scruffy. But they're there, not looking brilliant, looking a bit battered and a bit dry. And another one up there. I think it's bloody TT up here, look at the state of that. Jesus Christ. It'd be great if it wasn't for that bleeding row. So a quick look in the polytunnel. It's absolutely roasting in here. It's watering down, I have to water everything. Cucumbers haven't exactly grown a great deal. It's a bit dry for them, I think. Courgette's starting to grow a little bit, so not too bad. The lettuces there, look, they're really flowing in this heat. And the French beans, look, already 2 foot up, climbing up. Won't be long before they're putting beans out, actually. So the show carrots, the stump carrots, doing really well. They need a good watering today. Still got a couple of miss holes where something ate them, so I don't know what that was. And the long ones, again, not doing too badly. Lost 2 in this. I think it was because the door was open and they just rocked and snapped themselves off. And I've got a thistle growing right through the middle of that one, which isn't good. So anyway, down here I've planted another courgette because this is the bed where the onions are. And I'm not using it for anything, so I've just chucked another spare courgette and actually got the ones I normally grow to germinate eventually. A couple more of the giant potatoes. So these are the other giant potatoes, the ones that I planted first. Starting to put flowers on, which means that there's spuds coming, but they want to be taking off all the flowers, otherwise they take energy away from the potato, so I'll just pinch those out. It had actually flowered before, but it's putting some more out, so we'll pinch them out. But so far so good, just keep watering them, feeding them, and we'll see what sort of monstrosity lies underneath in September. Likewise the giant carrots, doing alright, ticking away. This sort of heat can sort of make them go to seed prematurely, so, but there's not a lot I can do about that. And then I'll show you the onions. I'm really over the moon with these. Start off with this one. It's just the first one, just a random one. I've put my hand in there, look at the size of that neck. That's what you want, a big thick neck. Got about 22 leaves on some now. They're all pretty much the same. This is the one in the air pot. Again, huge. Never had them anywhere near this size at this time of year. Yeah, so we'll go around to this side, but look at that, it's fantastic so far, but won't count my chickens till they've hatched. But so far so good, and I'm giving them about 1 litre of water every 3 days, that's all. Which doesn't sound a lot, but it seems about right. I've been lifting the pots up and they're not getting super heavy, so any heavier, so it's just using what it needs. Not putting any fertiliser in, just relying on what's already in the compost. So that's the giant onions, and that's what it's like in here. So, like I said, couldn't be happier. Fantastic so far. Whether this heat's going to send them to seed a bit later on, we don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully not. So we'll just have a quick nip to the greenhouse. There's not a lot going on at all up there, but I'll just show you anyway. Well, hi folks, in the greenhouse now. The sun's going down. It's cooled down a bit, thankfully. So I'll just show you how things are growing in here. I've got a cucumber growing. That's a fem spot. Grow those every year. Just grow it and then I'll train it across that wire as usual. These are the mid-jaws long that I'm growing for Harrogate. I've just noticed bloody green fly on already, so I'll have to give those a little spray. I wondered why the leaves were going a bit funny. So I'm glad I spotted that actually then looking at it. But they're not growing very fast since they've been in here. But I think it's just been so hot. All the pots have got, I mean the pot now is absolutely red hot still from today. So I think I've got loads of them. What I'm going to have to do is put some white plastic up against them to try and, because they're south facing the way they're facing, try and keep the heat off them because they're just absolutely boiling in the pots. So I think I'll do that, get a bit of polystyrene or something and put it up to try and shield them from the heat. So anyway, there the jaws along, another one there. These are tumbling tomatoes. As you can see, tomatoes on already. And they'll continue until about September. They just keep growing and growing and growing, even in such a little pot. Oh yeah, look at that, I've just noticed. Can't see for looking. Loads of tomatoes on, well, so that's good. So I've got 3 of those, that's more than enough for that sort of tomato. They're not a cherry and they're not a big one, they're sort of in between. And they're not particularly sweet, so they're saying it's just like a cross between a big one and a little one, so I quite like those. These are some of the chilies. That's a jalapeno, which has got a chili on already, which seems a bit early. So maybe it's the heat just sending him into shock. I'm not sure, so no idea. And then these are the sweet peppers. They're like normal red peppers, as you call them. There, so that's that in the pots. And then I've just got a couple of tomatoes. I forgot Shirley and a Gardener's Delight. got plenty of tomatoes, we don't eat that many. So that's those. Down to the final potato in the pot now, the small ones, the early ones. And then these are the 3 that I've harvested out and replanted, and they're growing away happily. So any little immature potatoes that were left on the plant should hopefully grow, and we just get a little crop. Maybe we get a pound a pot. It's a pound extra, because if I'd have just thrown the pot away I wouldn't have got any more. So that's the spuds, and then all we've got growing as far as seedlings are concerned are another batch of lettuce to plant out later, a few more spring onions, and some of this 60-day broccoli, which I wish I hadn't have grown now, because it just bolted to seed up at the plot. I got one pick in and it was just a waste of time, so I don't even know whether I'll bother planting that out, because it seems a bit of a waste of time. So everything's got a bit dry, so I'll just give them a quick watering. So that's about it in the greenhouse, not a lot going on. Stuff up at the plot's growing well so far. We could do with some water, some rain, but I don't want to, like I said, tempt fate, because if it does start raining it'll probably never stop, and this weather is absolutely glorious. It's been 24 degrees here today and fantastic, so I mustn't complain, and I'm not going to do. I do not want any rain. I can get water somehow, but once you get no sun you're stuffed. So that's about it, folks. See you later.